everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing the On My Shelf tag. So you may or may not have noticed, but we are back to my old setup. This is how my room was in the summer, but then I switched my bookshelf to the other wall, but I switched it back yesterday because I was about to film a video, and in winter, the lighting is just awful. No matter how hard I try, the sun is just like, it starts setting at like 1. So it's terrible lighting, and it was really bad when the bookshelf was on that wall, but when I have it on this wall, it's not quite as bad. It's a little bit better. So I am planning on getting a lighting kit. I asked for one for Christmas, and I think my mom is going to get it for me. But it's obviously not Christmas yet, so I don't have that yet, so we kind of have to just put up with it for now. But I think this is much better than having it on the other wall, and it had like the sun would be shining on one area, so it would just focus on that. It was just a terrible situation. So basically I rearranged my whole entire room to get good lighting. So if that's not dedication, I don't know what is. But anyways, this tag is created by, I have no idea who. It's a pretty old tag, but basically the idea behind it is that every book on your shelf has a story. So what I did was on Twitter, I asked you guys to give me a number between, I think it was 1 and 9, and then another number between 1 and 22. Interestingly, there are only 2 numbers that are from like the 1 to 3 range. Most of you guys picked numbers that were from like the, I don't know what it was, like 6 to 9 range. That's what most of them are. But anyways, basically I'm going to be going like each number corresponds with a shelf and then a number of the book on the shelf. So whatever that book is, I pick it and I'm like, oh, this is the story behind it, whatever. So you'll kind of get what's going on as I do it, and I'm just gonna get into it. So the first numbers are 7 and 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Aha! So the first book we have is The Heir by Kiera Cass. This is the 4th book in the Selection series. So this is the most recent one, and it's the one where it follows the daughter of the main characters. I was very disappointed with this book. It was like the only book that I pre-ordered last year. I hardly ever pre-order books. I just kind of wait because I know I'm not going to read them right away 90% of the time anyways, but I did pre-order this book because it came out in May and it was the summer, so I knew I had time to read it. So it came and I read it in a day, and I was very, very disappointed for it. It was like probably my most anticipated release of 2015, and it was just really a letdown. I didn't hate it. It was just like meh. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like how the main characters from the other books were treated in this book. I don't know. There is another one coming out that I'm hoping will be better, but I do have a review up for this if you want to know like more coherent thoughts. I will link it down below and all that jazz. Next is 7 and 16. Interestingly, a lot of you picked shelf 7. I don't know why, but a lot of you. So this is shelf 7. This was 18, so this is 16. So we're in the same thing. So this is The Elite by Kiera Cass, which is the 2nd book in the Selection series. And this one, I would say, out of like the original trilogy, is probably my least favorite. I don't like the cover for it. I feel like the dress just looks really weird. I don't know. I just don't really like the cover for this one. But this one, yeah, I think it's my least favorite out of the series. Other than like The Heir, it's my least favorite out of the originals. I don't really know why. I guess it just was like meh to me. And also the titles for this series are such spoilers. Like I feel like that was just bad publishing decisions because you just know based on the title what is going to happen. Next is 9 and 21. So 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh, now I have to get it from the piles. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that was a lot of effort. So here we have The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I don't really have much of a story for this one other than that I really love it, and I really love it. I got it for my friend for Christmas last year, and I don't think she's read it yet, so I need to get her to read it. The series is just really cool. Like, it's a really unique dystopian which you don't get a lot of in YA, and I think this is actually the last dystopian that I've read, the last YA dystopian that I've read. I could be completely wrong on that, but I think it is because like it's just nothing can really live up to this one anymore. I liked how this one didn't have the whole factioning idea that seems to be the whole thing after like Hunger Games and Divergent. I liked how it was kind of like an X-Men vibe. I've never read X-Men or seen the movies or anything, so I don't really know that much about X-Men. Like I know that it's about people with superpowers, so I know this one has to do with superpowers. But this is just a really cool series, and it just makes me excited to read more of Alexandra Bracken. She has her next book coming out in 2016, Passenger, and I'm super pumped. Next is 417. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I actually haven't read this book yet. It's been on my TBR for probably the past 3 or 4 months, but I haven't read it yet. I guess my story behind it is that the main character has the same name as me, except she spells it wrong. How does she spell it? She spells it funny. Well, I apparently started this and got to page 10, so go me. Yeah, she spells it H-A-Y-L-E-Y, and I spell it H-A-I-L-E-Y, so she's almost there, but not quite. Next is 5 and 13. So that's this shelf. 1, 2, 3, all of my bones just cracked. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Was it 13? I think it was 13. So we have Dumplin by Julie Murphy, and story behind this is that I just remembered I wanted to do a review for this, so it needs to go in my to review pile. But this book I was really apprehensive going into, and I actually got it in the Owl Crate box because Owl Crate offered to send me their box in September, which was awesome, and I loved it. And the theme was leading ladies, and I think it fit really well with this book because I did end up reading it even though I was so apprehensive, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was a solid, like, sassy story but with a lot of substance to it. But yeah, I am going to be doing a review for it, so when that happens I will let you know, obviously. But yeah, story is I was really hesitant, but I enjoyed it. Next is 8 and 15. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have Unravel Me by Tahar Mafi. These covers are my favorite, but this one is probably my least favorite. For some reason, I just never really like the second book in a series as much as I like the first one and the last one. It's just like the second book is just, I don't know, it's not my favorite, and I think it's the same case with this one. It's my least favorite out of the trilogy, but that doesn't mean it's bad at all. I really love this trilogy, but it's my least favorite out of all of them. Gotta be honest. Next is 717. So 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're just getting all of the selection series here. So this is the one, which is the final book in like the original trilogy. I think it should have just ended at this one. This is my favorite out of the whole entire trilogy. I loved this one for so many reasons that I can't really get into. This one I had just, like, this is when the selection series is the very first series I read when I was starting BookTube. It was kind of the series that introduced me to it. I went with my friend to the library and I took out the selection and the elite. The one wasn't out yet. It actually came out like 2 days after, so I read the selection and the elite one day each, and then I went and bought the one, and I ended up loving it. Like, I went and bought it because it came out literally the day after I finished the elite, so it was perfect timing, and it was just this whole series kind of introduced me to BookTube, so I owe a lot to this series, even though it's super corny, but I absolutely adore it. Next we have 3 and 7. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ta-da! So here we have The Archive by Victoria Schwab. This is the very first Victoria Schwab book that I've read. I've heard such great things about her, and I read this one and I just didn't really like it that much. I think it's because it wasn't at all what I was expecting. Like, I thought it was going to be so much different than it actually ended up being, so it was kind of a little bit of a letdown for me, and I feel like if I hadn't been expecting something completely different, I would have really enjoyed it. But because I was expecting something different, I didn't really love it. Next is 2 and 14. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Da, 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 da. So here we have The Iron Trial by h.leblanc and Cassandra Clare. I actually haven't picked up the second book, even though it already came out. I haven't picked it up yet, but this is kind of their new fantasy series, and I read this, it came out last September, I believe, because I remember reading it on the way to drop my sister off at college because she was going back to school. I remember that, and I remember this book, like, it's short. It's not a long book by any means, but it took me forever to read. I don't know why it took me so long. Like, I think it took me a week to read, which back then, like, I was reading books like that, and it just seemed like a really long time. Now I've slowed down my reading a lot, so that's kind of normal for me, but, like, it took me so long, and I remember it was just stressing me out that it was taking me so long to read. But I did really enjoy this one. It was really unexpected for me because I would expect one character to do something or be something and then they weren't, and I did really like that. So I do think it's a solid series, I just haven't continued with it for whatever reason. Next is 6 and 12. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This shelf has not 22 books on it. That was difficult for me to say. So we have Shades of Earth by Beth Revis. That was a struggle. I guess my story behind this is that I hate the fact that they changed the cover because the other two have beautiful covers, but I don't really hate this cover. I like the other ones better. But this series I read this summer and I did enjoy it. It just wasn't my favorite, I guess. I think it was solid, but I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, so I didn't really love it. But that being said, I did like this book. I think this book was my favorite because it wasn't like, I felt like the first two books were really repetitive, but I think this one really took a different turn and I really liked that. And finally we have 7-11, which I enjoy because it rhymes. So 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yay! So here we have Infinite by Jodi Meadows. I got this one off of Book Outlet and it was like, I ordered it and it said Infinite Book 3 of the New Soul Trilogy, whatever, so I knew that was what I wanted, but there was no picture for it, so I wasn't sure if I was actually going to get it, but I did end up getting it, which was really exciting. It was the only one that they had in stock, so I was excited about it. I really love this series. I love the covers of them. I think they're just so pretty, and I don't know why, but I just love them. But the series is really good, and it's really underrated. It's like just such an out there fantasy, and it's unlike anything I've ever read before, and it's really awesome. I am going to be doing a recommended reads for like underrated books, or like whatever you would call it, underhyped books? I don't know what you would call it, but I will talk more about this series in that video because honestly you should read it. It's super cool. So that's all for the On My Shelf tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. I thought this was kind of fun, just talking about the books that are on my shelf. Thank you to everyone who gave me numbers and all that. That was very helpful. Couldn't have done it without you. So if you want to keep up with my videos, don't forget to subscribe. I put out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. This one will be going out on Friday because of my whole bookshelf move, lighting situation. But yeah. If you wanted to go and watch my last video, it will be over here for you, so you can go and click there and then it will bring you to it. I believe I did my November wrap up, so you can see what I read in November. And if you wanted to follow me on social media, I have Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, and my username for all of those is @HalesHeartsNYC. I try to respond to everyone on Twitter, so as long as I like don't accidentally miss your tweet, I will definitely respond to you. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!